Abigail Adams, Level Book K, written by Kira Freed. Who was Abigail Adams and why was she so important? Words to know: causes, colonies, equal rights, First Lady, independent, expected. This portrait of Abigail Adams was made in 1795. Who was Abigail Adams? Abigail Adams lived at a time when women mostly thought about their husbands, children, and home. Abigail Adams was different. Her mind was full of ideas about how a country should be. Early years. Abigail was born on November 11th, 1744, in Massachusetts, one of the 13 colonies. At the time, the colonies were ruled by Great Britain. Most girls were not allowed to go to school. Abigail's mother taught her to read and write. Abigail was smart and loved to read. These paintings of Abigail and John Adams were made around the time of their marriage. Abigail married John Adams in 1764. John worked as a lawyer. He was often away from home because of his work. Abigail took care of the farm and their money. The Adams family. Abigail and John's children helped with chores on the family farm. Their oldest son, John Quincy Adams, became the 6th President of the United States. This stamp showed that the tax had been paid to Great Britain. War with Great Britain. Soon after Abigail and John were married, Great Britain began to treat the colonies unfairly. People had to pay many high taxes. Abigail and John and many others wanted the colonies to become independent. This painting shows John Adams meeting with other men to discuss the colonies' independence. John left the farm to help the colonies break away from Great Britain. Abigail cared for their children and ran their farm. A woman running a business was not common at that time. Abigail thought John's work was important. She and John wrote many letters while he was away. Abigail shared her ideas about helping the colonies become independent. John respected her ideas. The colonies went to war with Great Britain to become independent in 1775. John kept working to help the colonies become free. Abigail made meals and cared for soldiers who were hurt. She wrote to John about what was happening. This painting of John Adams was made in 1783. After the war ended in 1781 and the colonies became a new country, the United States of America. George Washington became the first U.S. president in 1789. John became the first vice president. John became president in 1797. As First Lady, Abigail spoke out against slavery in favor of equal rights for women. Some people did not like it when Abigail spoke out. They sometimes called her Mrs. President. Abigail never stopped talking about what she believed was right. Do you know? John and Abigail were the first president and first lady to live in the White House. It was called the President's House at that time. This painting of Abigail Adams was made in her later years. Abigail and John moved back to their farm when his 4 years as president were over. In 1818, Abigail died. This statue of Abigail Adams is in Boston, Massachusetts. Her ideas lived on. In time, they made the United States a better place for many people. She showed the world that women can speak up and work for important causes. Glossary. Causes. Beliefs, ideas, or goals supported by a group of people. Colonies. Areas or countries that are ruled by or belong to another country. Equal rights. Freedoms and powers that are good as those of other groups of people. First Lady. The wife of a president or other leader. Independent. Not controlled or ruled by others. Respected. Treated with honor. The end.